Welcome to another version of the Iron Horse Light Limited Super Stock build for the Iron Horse pulling team. I just thought I'd give everybody a little quick update. We've been getting some parts back here, so we made a little bit of progress and kind of got the shop swept up this time before I put this video up. So everybody's wondering, does the guy own a broom or not? But we have got the differential back. It's in it. I'll show you guys that here in a minute. All we got left to do that is put the pull gears in it and kind of show you a few little things that we did in there. Been doing a lot of welding, a lot of bracing on the frame. I don't know if you've seen the light of the videos here lately of the tractor crashes and the stuff like that. And, you know, we're trying to make this thing safe. And so I've added a little more bracing, and I've got my front weight bracket on this one side here. If you notice here, this here is just like a cheap, or not really a cheap, a lightweight channel that we're using for a frame. So what I had them do is I had them cut out some blanks here, just some tractor blank weights. You can see it there. It's a 1/4 inch plate made just like the weight. Then I'm welding that to the frame. That'll give it a lot of rigidity up there. We're gonna hang about five weights on each side. And I kind of went with these weights because it kind of fits the contour of the tractor. I really like the way it turned out, the way it looked there. You can see it kind of all flows in. I got to put a little spacer in there to get that weight kind of quit from hanging down like that, so it's a little evener there. So we did that. We've got some bracing welded in here when we had to cut the frame. Like I said, if we would have made this frame 2 inches wider, we wouldn't have had to do a lot of this stuff that I'm doing in here, but this thing is going to be narrow, and especially with the back tires on it. We got the bell housing all in it. It's welded in. It kind of sets in a little cradle there, but it is bolted in solid. It doesn't run in a cradle, but it is bolted in solid with the SFI bell housing that we're required to run if you don't, since these Olivers don't have a cast bell housing. We got the brakes kind of set up here. Go to the differential here. I'll take this cover off. So kind of dark in there, but you can kind of see the differentials in there. One thing on an Oliver, this is kind of the weak spot right in here. These will have a tendency to break. On some of the newer ones, the 1850s, they have what they call a snubber. And a snubber is this little device right here. And this come out of a 1955. And what they do is they actually take it and it runs up against this, the gear here to keep it from pushing over, trying to push away, and that keeps these from breaking. Another thing an 1800 does not have that the other newer models have, or the bigger models, I guess you could say, and are these things right here. This is another support mechanism that goes over, basically goes over this to kind of help support that in there. An 1800A, that's the reason the 1800As are light, because they don't have a lot of these things. And with this rear end being so light, I'm not afraid to put all the safety stuff on to make it a little safer. We got the gear ratio figured out. We're going to be a little slow. I was hoping we'd be around 23-to-1. We're going to be around 24 when we're done, but we're going to run it like that. We got that's kind of the brake setup that we got on it right now. As you see, these are the tie bars. These are not going to work. Plus, they're not legal. The rules state that it has to be tied up by where the engine mounts to the frame, which is way up here. So you need to run your tie bars from here up to the bell housing area there, firmly. So what we're going to do, as you can see, I left some steel hanging down here. We're going to weld a plate across here, and then we're going to tie from below and come forward and tie it all in up here, and then we're going to close it in with some nice stainless metal, so you won't even see it, and that'll keep it below them brake housings, and plus it'll give it some rigidity there. And then we're going to also bolt it to this frame right here. We're going to come down with a plate to bolt it to bars, so you'll have support here and you'll have support out here. Because on these, I mean, if anybody's seen videos, these Olivers, there has been a few that have break right here. It's just because of the weight is out here. And by doing that, we're hoping to tie all that together and hoping that'll work out. Another thing in my videos, you see now my rear wheels were hitting my wheelie bars, because I told you this thing's gonna be narrow. And so what I had my buddy do is we made some spacers right here. We actually flipped these around. So this one used to be over here with the bars sticking out on this side. So now we moved to the bars. This is as close as we can move them in without hitting the rear end housing. So we're gonna get that done after we get the plates built for the bottom to tie all the rear end housing together and to the frame. And then plus these here, notice they stick out too wide, and the wheels are gonna rub them anyway too. So that's kind of where we're at on the frame. Kind of give you guys what we're gonna do on the engine. I haven't really said much. We've made some changes on what we're gonna do for the engine. And I am having Terry Blackburn build the rotating assembly on the tractor. He's actually probably about a month out from getting it done. The crankshaft is sent to the machine shop with fluid dampener and this built steel flywheel, the SFI flywheel. That's going to be around 11-inch 4 discs. So that's at the machine shop. All that's getting polished, and then also that's going to get balanced for 6,000 RPMs. So they're going to do a little more extra work on balancing it, and if they have to counterbalance it, they will. My goal is this week is to send a block over this week to kind of tell you what we're doing on the block, which I told you Terry Blackburn's doing the rotating assembly. One thing we did do is we're just going to go with a cast regrind cam. After talking to Terry, he said that, you know, that's a good place to start. He said without getting into the rollers and all that other stuff, he said some of the best dyno runs they've had is on some of these cast regrinds. And with him knowing what the grind needs to be on it and their experience, that's why I went with them. They've been building these for years. We kind of changed what we're going to do on the distributor too. The distributor, we were going to go with the Electromotive. I guess you can call me a chicken shit or whatever you want to call me, but we are going to go with go ahead and go with a standard distributor with an MSD8 box, and I don't know. They say they work. The Electromotives work, and I'm sure they do. But my tech savvy is not that good. And they said once you get them set, they work really good. But it's just getting them set right and getting your fuel set right with it. We are on the engine. I got all the studs in from Hasleys. We've got the 14 millimeter mains, they're here. All the cam bearings are here for the whole, to go with the cam bearings through the whole thing. We're going to hard block the block. We're going to fill it clear to the top. We're going to bore it 40 over. And then I ordered the 8.3 oil pump from Power Driven Diesel. One thing, if you ever order that from them, they will not sell it to you until you tell them what it's for. They don't even list it on their website as being available, because they had a lot of street guys put them on it, and then they were running 130, 40 pounds of oil pressure, and the guys couldn't figure out what they were doing. But we do have that. That way, then we're going to run this internal plate here, external oil plate with a Peterson bypass valve for our oil system. Since they're running that, you're not going to have all that other stuff, that oil cooler and all that. That's just going to fit on there with a remote oil system. Then that's kind of the plan there. So that's kind of where we're at. I did find a turbo here laying on the table. I don't know. This might get everybody kind of fired up here if you know the rules, but this here's our turbo. No, I'm just joking. This is not our turbo. This is a turbo I had years ago. It was actually the bottom charger when I actually had a super stock. Oh God, it would have been 15 years ago. And that was a bottom charger. That's actually a 9095, I think they call it, which is a little big for what we're doing. But I dug this out the corner. This is going to be our fuel pump, our Oberg or fuel filter. I had this left over from our previous build and stuff. We're going to get that put on. And but now we just got to figure out how to drive the distributor. I think we're going to drive it off of the where the P pump went. Just got to find somebody that'd be able to manufacture that for me. So. But other than that, I'm really happy with the way things are turning out. You know, you get into these projects, you find some things that you don't like that you think was going to work, and then you have to end up changing it. But we're going to get there. Like I said, I think things are going to really start progressing. Get the other weight deal added on the front, and like I said, I'm really happy the way it's turning out. We got our white sheet metal that came in. I guess I went and found. We're going to just run white for now. White 2105. We're going to stitch it all together. So it's just a one-piece tilt hood. So a lot of body work to do on that, but we'll get started on it here someday. We got all winter, I guess. So, but really happy. Things are progressing, and we'll catch everybody sometime. Thank you. Bye.